Detective Carl Donnelly thought it would be easy, just another mouthy teenager with no legal representation, no law degree, and no real chance. He didn't expect her to walk into that courtroom and unravel his entire career in front of a judge, a gallery full of spectators, and a tape recorder that didn't miss a single word. The courtroom wasn't silent, not exactly. There was the steady buzz of a ceiling fan rattling in the corner, the soft scrape of a pen across yellow legal pad paper, and the occasional creak of folding plastic chairs. But when Mariah Holloway stepped through those double doors, something shifted. She didn't wear anything flashy, just a navy blue blazer, khaki slacks, and well-worn black flats. Her hair was tied back in a tidy bun, and she wore wire-framed glasses perched low on her nose. She looked like someone attending a church program or a debate team final, but she wore the outfit like it was battle armor. Calm, unshaken, like someone who had already read the ending of a book everyone else was still fumbling through. She sat down at the defense table slowly. Alone. No attorney at her side. Just her. 17 years old, charged with obstruction of justice and representing herself. Donnelly chuckled. Not loudly, but loud enough for the bailiff to glance his way with a raised eyebrow. A smug smirk curled the corner of his mouth like he was watching a sitcom he'd already seen play out before. Judge Harold Lindley adjusted his glasses and looked up. "Miss Holloway, are you representing yourself today?" "Yes, Your Honor," Mariah replied, her voice clear, even, and resolute. Donnelly leaned back in his chair, arms folded across his chest. "This'll be over quick," he muttered. To the courtroom, she looked like a teenager playing dress-up in a room that didn't belong to her. Just another East Side girl from a neighborhood people didn't drive through after dark. Just another case number in the system. But what no one knew, what no one saw coming, was that for the last month, Mariah Holloway had done more than prepare. She'd armed herself like her life depended on it. Because it did. She scanned the courtroom briefly. Her eyes paused on her mother in the third row from the back. Her mother didn't smile. She wasn't even breathing, just frozen with worry. Mariah gave a slight nod, not for comfort, but for confirmation. She had this. The bailiff read aloud, "The State of Arizona versus Mariah Denise Holloway. Case number 22-135B. 1 count obstruction of justice. 1 count interfering with police procedure." Mariah stood. "Ready, Your Honor." The judge glanced down at the file. "Ms. Holloway, I've read the charges. You've waived your right to an attorney. You understand this is not small claims or traffic court. You will be held to the standards of a licensed attorney." "I understand, Your Honor." Donnelly shook his head, trying not to laugh outright. A teenager quoting legal code? This was going to be a joke. What he didn't know was that Mariah hadn't wasted a single minute since her arrest. While other kids her age posted TikToks and selfies, she had locked herself in her room with a borrowed Chromebook, reading state statutes and watching courtroom videos on public access sites. She'd called legal aid hotlines under fake names, just to hear how professionals dissected real cases. She'd printed out every piece of paperwork related to her arrest and broken it down line by line. But most importantly, she had watched the video from her cracked cell phone dozens of times, the same video she had recorded that day in front of Bailey High School. She hadn't meant to go viral. She just didn't want her friend Jamal getting slammed into a fence again. Donnelly had rolled up angry, barking orders before asking a single question. Jamal had been blamed for breaking into a locker he didn't even use. Mariah hadn't touched anyone. She had just spoken. And for that, she was cuffed, shoved into a patrol car, and charged with obstruction. Now, she placed a neat stack of documents on the desk in front of her. Donnelly looked unimpressed. Arrogance has a way of collapsing under truth, and truth was about to crush him. That Tuesday afternoon had been blistering hot, Arizona's sun reflecting off chain-link fences like steel griddles. School had just let out. Mariah had been waiting on the corner of 13th Avenue and Woodward, scrolling through a group project chat, half listening to a song. That's when she heard the commotion, yelling, scattered gasps. She pocketed her phone and followed the sound. Jamal was shouting, "No, not him." The adult was. The school security guard was already on edge. Then Donnelly showed up. He wasn't campus security. He was Phoenix PD stationed in that neighborhood after a surge of petty thefts. Everyone knew him. Oversized sunglasses, bulky shoulders, hand always hovering near his belt. He didn't ask Jamal a question. He just grabbed him. Jamal flinched. Reflex. No threat. And that's when Donnelly slammed him into the fence. Mariah froze for a beat, then pulled out her phone. "You can't do that," she said, steady but firm. He didn't do anything. Donnelly looked at her like she was trash on the sidewalk. Back up. I'm recording this, she said, her voice loud enough for the nearby students to hear. You didn't even ask what happened. You want to interfere? He barked, letting go of Jamal and marching toward her. You're not allowed to use force without cause, she replied. I know my rights. Oh, you know your rights? He sneered. Then learned the consequences. He shoved her against the patrol car, cuffed her, and ripped the phone from her hand. Obstruction, he declared to his body cam. Interfered with a police investigation. Students gasped. Phones came out. But the damage was done. At the precinct, Mariah's mother was told no public defender could take the case for another 3 weeks. Patrice Holloway worked 12-hour shifts at the VA hospital. There was no money for a private lawyer. So Mariah took matters into her own hands. She studied, relentlessly. At first, for hours a night. Then 6. She printed out the police report, color-coded lies in red, contradictions in blue, and anything suspicious in yellow. She messaged a distant cousin's girlfriend, a paralegal in Flagstaff, who mailed her a list of resources, legal codes, and public trial transcripts. Her room became a war room. Binders stacked 3 inches thick. Notes, case law, glossaries, printouts, neon tabs, transcripts from other teens who had fought back and won. Her history teacher, Mr. Ellsworth, noticed her staying after school. You're not giving up, are you? He asked. No, she replied. I'm getting ready. And that's the thing. When people prepare in silence, no one sees it until it's too late to stop. She rehearsed every question she would ask, every objection, every counter. She read her opening statement over and over until it sounded like steel, not desperate, not angry, just undeniable. Don't try to sound smart, one legal aid volunteer told her. Try to sound certain. She practiced in front of mirrors. Her mom, her little cousins, even 2 kids who lived down the street. When they asked what she'd do if the judge cut her off, she replied, wait, then finish louder. Her community noticed. Not because she asked, but because she never asked for sympathy. She just showed up, serious, determined. Even the school janitor gave her an old legal dictionary from night school. People leaned in, not to rescue her, but because she'd already shown she wouldn't break. But Donnelly still thought it would be easy. Another dumb kid. No chance. No strategy. He was wrong. The courtroom on trial day was packed. Teachers. Jamal's mom. A reporter from the Arizona Chronicle. Everyone was curious about the girl defending herself. Mariah stood as Judge Lindley entered. The prosecutor gave a cold opening, painted her as a loudmouth, disrespectful, escalating an already tense situation. Then it was Mariah's turn. She stepped forward. Your Honor, members of the court, she began, making eye contact with each juror. I'm not a lawyer, but I know what I saw. And more importantly, I know what I lived. I'll let the facts speak. And they did. One by one, she called her witnesses. Mr. Ellsworth described her as focused, precise. Jamal said she was calm, never touched anyone, just recorded and asked what was happening. Then came the video. Judge Lindley allowed it. The grainy clip played on the projector. Donnelly grabbing Jamal. Mariah's voice, clear, assertive, not hostile. Then the arrest. Gasps rippled through the room. Mariah didn't watch the screen. She watched Donnelly. Watched the color drain from his face. Then she cross-examined. Officer Donnelly, did I approach you? You were loud. Distracting. Did I move from my position? Maybe slightly. I have time-stamped frames, she said, holding up a printed analysis. No movement. No aggression. Just standing and filming. He fumbled. Videos can be misleading. I had a digital analyst review it. Would you like to dispute her findings? He didn't. Then she dropped the last bomb. Your Honor, I respectfully request consideration of prior misconduct reports filed against Officer Donnelly. 3 and 5 years. None prosecuted, but all filed. The courtroom buzzed. The judge leaned forward. These are public records? Yes, Your Honor. Through freedom of information. Donnelly looked crushed. After a recess, Judge Lindley returned with a different tone. Ms. Holloway, your presentation was methodical, your reasoning sound, and your evidence compelling. The charge of obstruction is dismissed. She exhaled. Outside, her mother hugged her tight. Jamal smiled. I didn't know you could do all that, he said. Neither did I, she replied. Until I had to. The story spread. Not viral, but enough. Articles called her the teen who outclassed the badge. Some people mocked her. More people admired her. Roosevelt high changed. Students started questioning things. Teachers listened more. A week later, Mr. Ellsworth handed her an envelope. Law summer program, he said. I submitted your name. She opened the packet. Arizona State. Mock court. Real mentors. Her future. Later that night, she sat at the same table. This time, a blank sheet of paper. Across the top, she wrote, "They thought I came to defend myself. I came to expose the truth." She didn't know what would come next. But now, for the first time, she got to choose. And justice didn't come down from a tower. It started with a teenager, with a binder, a phone, and the quiet courage to say, "That's not okay." And